Greetings from beautiful, stormy, windy Rockaway Beach, New York. We're getting hit by a fucking nor'easter tonight. Of course we are. I got to go out and play a gig. I hope at least some of yous go down to the Rockaway Brewery, 72nd Street and Amstel Boulevard in Rockaway. I'm playing bass with the Supertones, New York's #1 surf instrumental combo. And we're going to be playing from 7 to 10. And then tonight, Friday 29th. So come out, start celebrating Halloween early. And and then my friends, the voluptuous horror Karen Black, they're playing Tompkins Square Park Sunday about 4:30. I thought I'd pass that news on. But anyway, we're going to a couple of things. This is Simon Chardiet's New York Stories. I'm just sitting here. I'm playing bass tonight, but I'm just sitting here and noodling on a guitar. But some more of cancel culture in life. I was somebody shut me down, like turned the sound off on me today, or like disconnected me because I said that a man that abuses women, that hits women, is a shit bastard and deserves a fucking beating. And they like shut me down, like I got like censored, like. So I just gotta say this, okay? A man that hits women or children or animals is a shit bastard and deserves a fucking beating. Fuck you, all right? What? That's like saying a cupcake is a little round thing with some frosting on it. Yeah, that's what a cupcake is. And a man that hits women is a fucking bastard. So that's all I got to say, all right? So anyway, let's go on now to Joey Miserable and the Worms. So we were getting ready to go on our tour, and Curtis, he was on this gig. We were playing Nightingales, and remember, people used to smoke back then in the bars. You know, like you'd be singing, and I would be trying to sing in something like, "I've been running and stumbling, my grip clutching and fumbling." Right, I'm trying to sing some like soul music or whatever, and there'd be some guy there with a cigarette hanging out his mouth, like puffing smoke up in my face, and I'm trying to fucking sing. I never smoked a cigarette in my life. Waste of fucking time and money. I mean, I blew all my money on like heroin and speed and marijuana and guitars and crack. I don't know, but I waste my money on cigarettes, So anyway, it's all smoky. And Curtis, who was 49, he says, "I got this feeling in my throat, this bad feeling in my throat. I almost feel like I got throat cancer or something. It's just, my throat's killing me, man." And a couple of times he would call in sick to a gig, and Chuck would come in and play, and turns out he got diagnosed with lung cancer. And he always told me that it's because when he was in the loony bin, they gave him all this Thorazine, and Thorazine is a chlorotoxin, right? And it's only one chemical link, one atom away from being Agent Orange, like dioxin. And he claims it's all the meds they gave him when he was locked up in a crazy house. And so that's what he always said to me, and he had cancer, and we were just, oh man, Curtis, and we always thought that maybe he'd pull out of it or he'd be okay. But this is back in the 80s when pretty much cancer was a death sentence and AIDS was a death sentence. Cancer was a bad way to go. They just kept cutting stuff off and poking and prodding and sticking shit into you until you died, like it was like being tortured to death. And AIDS was a fucking death sentence back then, and so was cancer. you know, and we played all these fucking smoky fucking ass places, and you know, so he was sick, and then Johnny Boy Chapin, he came in on the road stuff, you know, and Curtis was so, we were all devastated because Curtis really wanted to get back out on the road, you know, and he really wanted to do the tour, and he was just dying to go on the road. I know how he feels. I'm dying to go back on the road. And he was going to the doctors and everything, so we did that first Worms tour. And so we get off, we get off at Jerry's Diner, and that's where I met George Murray, and then Jimmy Image Ohms, who interviewed me on his radio show last year. So and I met George's daughters, Sally and Holly. Holly wasn't born until a little later. So then I go up to George's house, and his house was like on the top of the tallest hill in Kent, Ohio. And he was kind of a semi hippie commune, hippie house kind of place. And like I was always really afraid of kids, like little kids. I didn't want to have kids. I was like, after getting the fucking shit beat out of me in my childhood all the time, I don't know, but then I was afraid some kids would look at me, and a little kid, like 3-year-old kid, and they would just be, you know what, you're totally full of shit, fuck you. That's what I always thought. Kids would just hate me. But I go up there, and like, you know, I'm straight out of Lower East Side, just, you know, straight out of Lower East Side, and they're like, hey, we gotta go, can you babysit the kids? And it was like Sally and Jamie and a bunch of other people's kids. So I just started improvising. I was like, well, let's, you know, entertain them. So I was giving them rides on my back and pretending to be a New York City taxi driver. So I'd be like, let's play taxi ride, and they were riding my back, and I'd be like, come on, lady, tell me where you're going, I ain't got all day. And then I would pretend to be, I'm drunk, I don't drive too good, and I'd run head first into a wall, or the taxi would crash, and they liked that, so we just did it over and over again. And then, you know, I would pretend to be a monster or a robot and chase them, and they liked it. And it's like, you know, this is how the family was. They just let some like fucking punk rock or drug addict from the fucking East Side babysit their kids. But I must say this, not for nothing, I was a good fucking babysitter, you know? And so then we played JB's Up, and we had a fantastic time, and the whole Murray family came, and it was like just the start of my relationship with these people that like I'm in touch with my whole life, you know, like shout out to the whole Murray family, shout out to Jimmy Image, shout out to Richie Gambert, Ronnie Banner, you know, all the metal heads. Kent was such a small town that all the punk rockers, the hippies, the skinheads, and like the thrash metal kids all had to hang out together, because it was like this real Joe College, like real fucking straight, like kind of crew cut kind of fucking place, you know, and there was very few weirdos. So all the weirdos, whether they were like deadheads or fucking skinheads, they had to hang out together, and everybody got along. You know, it wasn't like in New York where like the slightest little difference between, oh well, I'm a vegan straight edge roller skater band, so I beat up on the guys that like mozzarella on their pizza, you know, and they listen to their band. They're not playing 2 chords; they're playing 3 chords. So let's beat them up. I mean, New York was like everybody would split hairs, you know. Like, I mean, well, I was playing rhythm and blues and rock and roll and doo-wop and funk back then. I was not in a punk band like my friends, you know, all the big New York hardcore bands, you know. I was just, I don't know, man. I'm a fucking weirdo. I was doing different shit, you know. So anyway, so everybody hung out, and then we played. These are some other like places we played that went really good. This place in Beloit, Wisconsin, we called it the Puker. It was like the Rathskeller or something, but that place always went really good, and the gigs there were a lot of fun, and we did some other. I remember we did this gig, and it was in Toledo, Ohio, and there was like 3 people at one table, and it was like, oh man, I hope they're still here when we start playing. And I heard them talking to each other, and one girl said to the other girl, "Those guys, that band is really scary looking. Let's get out of here before they start playing." So we played to like nobody. We played in Detroit on fucking Thanksgiving to nobody. I mean, like, Ugats. There was nobody in the audience. Empty fucking club. So we just rehearsed. Uh, we played, um, sometimes we would play some places that were kind of square, like the 4 TVs with the football game on, like sports bars. They didn't get us. And, we played this other place where the guy was like, hey, guys, I'm really sorry, but, I got to send this money back every month to my people in New York. And we're not doing too good here. It's to where I can't pay you. I can't pay you. And there was like a gun on the table and 1 line of coke. And he had like a 38 police special with the barrel pointed at me and Jono. He was like, hey, you guys want a line? So we had them kind of gigs too. But I remember, so there was another place in Bowling Green, Ohio. It was up the stairs. That place was always really fun too. There was like you had to go up a flight of stairs, but the audiences were really good there too. We played the Midwest a lot. So look, Champ's here.
Hey.
What's happening, Champ?
Who are you on the line with?
I'm online with Simon's New York Stories.
Oh.
No, we're not going to shut down.
Is this a live feed?
Champ's back in town. This is a live feed. You're famous.
I'm sorry.
What are you sorry about? Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry.
Maybe be part of the show.
You're part of the show. You're part of the show. We're carrying on. So those are some of the, memories of the road that I had. And, we played another fun gig was we opened up for My Heroes, NRBQ. We opened up for them in Madison, Wisconsin, and then we had to drive the whole. That was really fun. I'm gonna put the picture of me and Big Al. Like Big Al's like 6'7" or 6'8" and like nearly 400 pounds, and I'm 5'3", and like I weighed about 10 pounds less than I do now. I'm like 5'3", so it looked like a fucking like a humpback whale next to a brine shrimp, the two of us. So I got pictures of that too, and then we were going. It was a fucking blizzard. I mean, it's fucking Wisconsin, and we had no money. We had the money from the NRBQ opening gig was just enough to. We used to all sneak into a hotel room. Holly was the most normal looking guy in the band, and he was also the only guy that had a fucking driver's license. So he used to go in and get the hotel room, and then he'd give us the high sound. We'd all sneak in, so we'd have like 6 of us bastards in one fucking hotel room, fight over who's in the bed or who's in the floor or whatever. And then we would go to Wisconsin, so we had just enough money to get a fucking place to crash for the night. We kip for the night. We get in the van. We had just enough gas to maybe make it to Minneapolis, and it's just blizzard. And we had like no fucking food. We had like 1 bag of potato chips, and that's it. We were fucking starving. We were fighting over the potato chips. One of the guys in the band was like the jailhouse lawyer, like, well, I only got 2 small chips, and you had 1 bigger chip, so you should break off a piece of. We were fucking fighting over fucking potato chips, like we were fucking starving. I had on I always had this injury in the back of my head from getting fucking beat up at one time, so it could always hurt, and it just started fucking throbbing, and like we go. It's like Wisconsin's weird because it'll be flat and then there'll be this like gulch, like this fucking ravine. So we go over this bridge and the van is sliding around in the snow. We're doing 10 miles an hour, and we look off the bridge and there's like a giant tractor trailer truck wrecked at the bottom in this like 200-foot drop. I mean, this is how big the fucking truck looked down at the bottom. I was like, yo, that guy fucking died. I was like, holy shit. And we got to Minneapolis. It was so cold the paint on my guitar cracked. That's how cold it was. And I've never been so, and the van didn't have heat in the back because we got this used van, you know. So I've never been so glad to get into like a Motel 6. And we were lucky the club owner spotted us for like a Motel 6 and some takeout pizzas. Like, and it was Domino's or something, you know, like that shit tasted good, yo, and you've been eating it 24 hours. So then we played this place, the Caboose. I remember that was a lot of fun. And so that was, then we crisscrossed. We came back through Kent again, you know, and but I will always say I think the best audiences we had was Kent, Ohio, and Beloit, Wisconsin, and we were just always up there in the fucking Rust Belt, freezing our fucking balls. All right, so that's and this is like November 1985, so we're up to there now, and you know, got back from the Worms tour. God, I don't. What I must have smelled like after 6 weeks under them kind of conditions. Fuck. All right, guys. There is a virtual tip jar here on PayPal. You know, as I cannot tell you that my musical career is at its high point right now. So any virtual tips you want to send will go to keep this show running. And then we have 25 albums out here on 25 albums out on Bandcamp. Simon Chardiet at bandcamp.com. And all proceeds from selling these music downloads go to recording the next album that probably you will hate because it's going to be all like loud, fast, fucking punk rock. You know? All right. Mwah.